right, hello wine-drinking people. Time for more of what I've had to drink yesterday. And we've also got a great tasting coming up with this winery, one of California's legendary producers, started all the way back in 1959, the current incarnation of this vineyard. But Montebello was planted over 100 years ago in the 19th century and has a long history of growing grapes on this property, high up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. And Paul Draper, one of the coolest cats you will meet in the wine business. One of the top winemakers of all time. I put him up there against anybody. Luckily, had a chance to spend dinner with him one evening at Cafe Max. And just a brilliant guy. What a great guy to talk to. And he started working at Ridge in 1968. Was started by some Stanford scientists. And these guys, you know, really into wine also. And some of the best Cabernet blends and Zinfandels. That's right, I said it, folks. Zinfandels that you will find in California, anywhere in the world for that matter. You can put these Cabernet blends up against Bordeaux, up against Napa Valley, up against anything from anywhere, and blind, they're showstoppers. All right, we started out with the Estate Chardonnay, and Ridge produced its first Chardonnay in 1962. Wow. And they had grapevines planted there in the 40s, Cabernet or Chardonnay vines, and produced some great Chardonnays through the years. Wine of the Year in the Wine Spectator, or the #2 wine one year. And this Chardonnay, really old world style, old world, new world, I guess you could call it. And had a little bit of funk to it when you first open it up. That's why we say old world. Almost kind of an onion peel, onion skin kind of note, but some nice candied lemon there, some vanilla bean. It really opened up nicely on the second day, very much like a white Burgundy. Lovely minerality showing through the bright fruit here. They use 20% new oak, 95% is American. So you do get a little bit of that textile greenness from the American oak, but really rich and layered wine on the palate. Nice touch of that oak spice and firm hand of acidity holding everything together. This wine should last a decade or more in your cellar. All right, and then the Zinfandel flight. Started out with the Three Valleys. This wine was made for the first time in 2001. It comes from grapes from several different valleys. Three valleys, that's the name anyways. It's got Carignan, Petit Syrah, and Alicante Bouschet in it, and that is one of the things that makes Ridge's Zinfandel so great. They're not 100% Zin. Back in the day when the old Italian immigrants planted the vineyards, they didn't plant just one varietal. They planted 7 and then they harvested them all together. And that was kind of the salt and pepper, the seasoning. It added some spice and some really, some different flavors to the Zin, making it more complex. Wow, okay. Anyways, this wine is really well-balanced style of Zinfandel. Some brambly berry fruit showing the wintergreen, savory herbs, and a game-like note. Nice complexity on the nose. Balanced Zinfandel, that's one of the things you get from Zin. Nice zesty spice and pretty floral notes. Some nice fruit, but that gravelly clay minerality showing through the finish. Nice freshness and balance. A very good Zinfandel here. The Geyserville up next, and they've made this every year since 1966. And a blend of Zinfandel, Carignan, Petit Syrah, Mataro, and Alicante Bouschet. And I love the fact that they've added a list of ingredients to all the bottles. This one I noticed there was egg whites in. There weren't in the first couple ones. That's a fining agent. And kind of cool. So vegans beware. You wouldn't like this wine. Anyways, this gets with a little funk on the nose. That's right. Alicante Bouschet, wild. A little gamey note. Some black licorice spice, minty, candied strawberry jam-like fruit. Really big and chewy on the tongue with a host of that pretty floral and that spice and that brambly fruit, man. Really nice richness here, but good balance and some tannins coming in here at the end. Wow, this is Zinfandel that you could age for a decade or more. Chalky tannins on the finish, but excellent fruit here in balance. Really nice. Pagani Ranch Zinfandel, made since 1991 at Ridge. And this is an old east-facing vineyard in Sonoma Valley. You really notice when Zinfandel vines get old, they give you a wonderful concentration here, and this wine has got it. 9% Alicante Bouschet and 1 Mataro in here for a little spice. Very big and rustic wine on the nose. Lots of dark raspberry, coulis, and rhubarb-like fruit. A bit of that dried meat, an animal character, really wild. Black pepper spice, a bit on the wild. Wow, big and chewy on the tongue. This wine has got a lot of fruit here. Lots of tannins, that dark spice, and a long finish. A little bit of that wild game there. Excellent juice. These wines are big, but still balanced. One of the things we love about Ridge. And the Merlot from Montebello Vineyard. Little monster, man. Let me tell you, this wine was made for the first time back in 1974. And It's got some really old world earthy qualities to the nose there. Some coffee, some fresh plowed earth, some black olive, and some herbs here to that dark plum and cherry fruit. Really big and layered on the palate. This wine has got a lot of everything though, and a firm hand of acidity. One of the things we love about Merlot, that plush tannins and that brightness at the end. This wine's got all the right stuff in proportion. This needs a little time as well. Excellent juice. And then the Cabernet Estate 2011. And in 1886, the Montebello Vineyard was planted and constructed. That's when they made their first wines here. Wow. First vintage was 1892. And in the early 40s, the last of the old vineyards were abandoned here. And this Ridge Montebello, one of the classic Cabernets of California. Most people just think of Napa Valley, but this Santa Cruz Mountains wine, like I said before, will stand up to anything. And this is a big wine. It's also a blend. It's got some Merlot, Petit Verdot, Cab Franc, and calcium carbonate. And it's used to lower the acidity here. They like their wines fresh and big. And this wine's got a good amount of dark currant and cassis berry fruit, plum, full complement of dark tobacco spice, black pepper, fresh graphite earth, opening up really nicely. Even better on the second day. One of the things we love about the great wines of the world, you keep them open, they really show you who they are. And on the second day, this wine's showing lovely, big, chewy fruit still. Wonderful balance, a firm hand of acidity, really like old world Bordeaux, some peppery spice and tobacco notes on the finish, dry tannins. This wine needs a little bit of time, but excellent juice. All right, the Montebello, this is one of our favorite wines from California. It's got a little Merlot, Cabernet Franc, and only 12.8% alcohol. Who is making wine like Ridge? Nobody. They're the only ones. 99% new air-dried American oak. You get that kind of green little hint to the wines. Maybe a little bit of dill, some currant berry fruit, light smoke, fresh plowed earth, sage, rosemary, bitter cocoa, minty, even more complex on the second day. This wine needs time to open, and big and massive on the palate, but still has elegance and finesse. One of the things I've always loved about Montebello, some lovely layers in this finish here, dark earth, espresso, and a firm hand of acidity here holding everything together. A massive wine. This wine needs 10 years. But most excellent juice, always one of the top wines made in California. The Geyserville Essence, this may be the best use for Zinfandel yet. Dessert wine, and this one's got a little Petite Syrah in it, which adds a little kind of Robitussin-y quality to the wine, and probably one of the best uses, like I said, for this varietal. It's got that lovely liqueur-like sweetness and nice freshness, nice acidity. Zinfandel doesn't have a ton of tannin. You get a little bit of that punch from the Petite Syrah, but a nicely balanced wine. Very sweet, but finishes dry like all sweet wine should. Excellent juice. And that's what we had to drink with our friends from Ridge Vineyards. Check out our tasting we've got coming up the first week in February here at the store. I'm your host, Andrew Lampasoni, signing off for the Wine Watch, saying remember, always drink the good stuff first.